USA Gymnastics CEO provides no answers in congressional hearing to discuss s.exual a.buse. Washington. Even when she spoke, USA Gymnastics Chief Executive Kerry Perry provided no answers. Perry's testimony before a House subcommittee Wednesday were her first public comments since taking over the beleaguered organization in December, and many hoped it would provide a day of reckoning for USA Gymnastics' role in addressing sexual abuse by longtime team Dr. Larry Nassar and other coaches who harmed athletes. Or at least some explanations. But Perry offered neither. During the nearly 3-hour hearing by the House Energy and Commerce Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations, she redirected the few questions she received on USA Gymnastics' past actions to what she had done to move the national governing body forward. Repeatedly, she expressed shock at the abuse hundreds suffered from Nassar's assaults, which happened for decades to athletes under USA Gymnastics' care and at Michigan State, where he was a longtime physician. More. Olympic leaders need to walk the talk after showing no sense of urgency. More, CEO admits USAC didn't wield its authority enough to prevent abuse over and over again. She said it fueled her work going forward, that she wakes up every day with the focus of protecting athletes. But when questioned about how this happened, Perry said she could not answer. Every moment that I think about what our athletes went through, it energizes me and gives me a sense of resolve every single day to make sure we're focusing our organization on athlete safety, she said. While that might be true, it's not enough for hundreds of victims, many of whom are suing USA Gymnastics, who say the organization did not do enough to protect them. Rather than account for the past actions that led USA Gymnastics here, Perry repeatedly cited an ongoing investigation by Boston-based law firm Ropes and Gray that is looking into USA Gymnastics and the USAC's handling of the case. Jessica Howard, a 3-time national champion in rhythmic gymnastics, is among the hundreds of gymnasts who have come forward to say Nassar abused them. Sitting in the gallery during the hearing on Wednesday, she said Perry's answers didn't offer sufficient accountability for what happened. I think she really does want things to be better. I don't think she is malicious the way some of the previous players were, Howard said. But I was very disappointed in her unwillingness to go back to before she began. I feel like that gave her a little bit of a pass. If you don't want to acknowledge anything that happened before December and just call it the new USA Gymnastics. I think they've done great making some changes, but it doesn't even begin to address the problems. These problems went on for decades, and USA Gymnastics didn't do anything except praise the system that got them medals. Has that really changed? Is it really just going to change with a few Band-Aid, PR, soundbite-worthy changes? By Wednesday's hearing, the 4th congressional hearing on the issue in the past 14 months, the extent of Nassar's abuse was known. Hundreds of women have said Nassar sexually abused them under the guise of medical treatment, including Olympic champion Simone Biles, Ali Raisman, Gabby Douglas, Michaela Moroni and Jordan Weber. Nassar, 54, is serving a 60-year federal sentence for child pornography charges. He was convicted of 10 counts of sexual assault in Michigan and faces a minimum of 40 years in prison after his federal sentence is over. The gymnastics sex abuse scandal began with a 2016 investigation by the Indianapolis Star, which found more than 350 gymnasts had accused coaches, gym owners and other adults working in gymnastics of sexual misconduct over the previous 20 years. Many of those complaints were not reported to law enforcement or child welfare agencies, the Star found, and USA Gymnastics policies did little to deter predators in the sport. Former federal prosecutor Deborah Daniels, hired to review USA Gymnastics policies and practices, said in June 2017 that the federation needed a complete cultural change. The search committee that chose Perry to replace Steve Penny, who resigned under pressure from the U.S. Olympic Committee in March, looked to her for transparency for the organization. Everybody wanted us to find the best leader we could possibly find, someone that could bring increased transparency and leadership and team-building skills to the organization to really try and take the organization, from the grassroots all the way to the board, take it forward and rebuild the trust in the entire company, said David Bank, chairman of the search committee. But on Wednesday, Perry had no answer for why her organization could not provide the committee data on the number of reports and complaints it has received going back years. From January to April, she said it received 275 cases, with 78 cases going to the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, which handles sexual misconduct. She could not answer what measures USA Gymnastics took to protect athletes after it learned of complaints against Nassar in the summer of 2015, saying only that it's her understanding that he stepped away. Perry could not say why USA Gymnastics had committed to purchase the Karolyi Ranch, where some of the abuse occurred, before backing out this year. At the very least, there was a cover-up. Things weren't transparent or clear, said Representative Tim Walberg, R. Michigan, and I think that added to the frustration of athletes and parents and the general public as well. I'd encourage you to continue looking for those questions and make sure it never happens again. Last March, USA Gymnastics declined an invitation to appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee, so Perry's appearance is a welcome change. The organization faces considerable legal liability and, in her opening statement, Perry acknowledged the organization's mediation efforts to settle the numerous lawsuits. Michigan State, where Nassar was a physician, last week settled its lawsuits with more than 300 women for $500 million. As much as the pending nature of the Ropes and Gray investigation, those lawsuits limited her testimony. Anyone waiting for a day of reckoning or searching for more accountability will continue to wait. Miss Perry, I'm glad that you're here today, said Representative Debbie Dingell, D. Michigan, but a lot of people have been wanting to hear from you since you took the job. You've got to be transparent with everybody. As she left the hearing, Perry declined to take questions from the media, as she has for the entirety of her tenure.